Are you being blinded by the light? Feeling fatigue or exhausted from harsh light exposure? Are your lights causing you to perform at a low level? Do you find yourself having a better time just sitting in the dark? Well, the new Studio Light 3000 from Grissom Designs can help you. With its patented hexagonal umbrella design, it is sure to increase your happiness and keep you performing at the top level. We guarantee you'll be so satisfied by our product, you'll spend hours bragging to your friends about how great our lights are. And the best part is, if you stick around and watch the video in its entirety, we will show you how to make your own light for free.
Just like Jason mentioned, the products from this video are not for sale to the general public. Please drink responsibly. No lights were hurt in the making of this video.
Hey everyone, so before I get too far into the video, I thought I should explain myself. Basically, when I started this project, I had no plans on filming any of it. It was just going to be something I made real quick for my buddy. But as I went further down the rabbit hole, I realized that there were some pretty cool techniques that I'd like to share with all of you. So, unfortunately, some of the early stages of the project are not recorded. So, creating a prototype, milling up red oak, and doing the panel glue-ups. But you can find videos on that anywhere on YouTube. So with that out of the way, let's get into this project. That was weird. So let's talk about the lights for this build. We're using 12-inch 28-watt modern LED lights. Each light is less than an inch thick. Each light is also separately dimmable and has a variable white balance ranging from approximately 3,500 to 6,000 Kelvin. So here's me taking the clamps off the two panels needed to make this build. I went with red oak for this build because I just wanted a hardwood that would be durable, because ultimately this wood is going to be painted and stained, so there's no need for me to do some fancy walnut or something like that I'm just going to ruin by staining. So don't hate on me, okay? I used red oak. It's hard and cheap, just like me. Alright, and with a little bit of movie magic, both pieces are out of the CNC. Because we didn't set the depth all the way through on the CNC, we're going to have to go around the edges with a jigsaw. So let's do that real quick. So by not cutting all the way through on the CNC, I did two things. One, I made a lot more work for myself, but the second, and probably the more important to me, is that I didn't have to worry about my pieces coming off or coming loose while cutting and sliding around and causing damage to my CNC. So next time you're setting up a carve, if you're considering cutting all the way through, make sure you put enough tabs to ensure your workpiece doesn't come loose from the table. And as you might have guessed, the jigsaw left a pretty rough edge, so it was up to my router and my trusty flush trim bit to come to my aid. And might I say, they did a lovely job. Alright, now that that's done, let's go ahead and give this a final sanding before we start doing the finish. Yep, that's right. I got a Festool sander. This is the ETS EC150, and I love this thing. Alright, I'm sorry to say it. I love Festool. I love them so much I even went and bought their dust extractor. This thing is amazing, and I don't know why I sanded so long without it. Alright, so now that the pieces are all nice and sanded, let's get to finishing. This is going to be pretty fun. I'm doing something new. Hopefully it'll be new for you too. So, let's check it out. This is Speedball's Super Black India ink. And this is red oak. And this is red oak with Super Black India ink. Alright, before I get into showing you how to apply this stuff, take note that I am wearing a different shirt. I don't care about getting black ink on this shirt. You should make sure you keep that in mind when working with this stuff. Also, I'm going to be wearing some gloves because I don't want my hands getting stained. With that said, we're just going to make sure we shake it really well. Then we're going to pour it into our cup. And then just start using a foam brush to spread it around. Super simple. Alright, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and let it sit. I don't wipe it off or do anything, just let it sit on there, and we'll see if we need a second coat. I think we should be good with one coat. So for the umbrella concept to be a success, I needed to come up with a way to separate these two pieces. But I wanted to make sure whatever I came up with didn't block too much light. So I decided to use acrylic. This acrylic rod I got off Amazon for about 20 bucks, and it's great. Seems like it'll do the job. Cutting this acrylic rod was easy using a Japanese handsaw and Jonathan Katzmos's dovetail jig. I used the shoulder side to keep the blade at a 90 degree while I started the cut. Worked good. I needed to be able to drill a hole right through the middle for the wire to go through. I decided to just 3D print something. Gotta love a 3D printer. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to 3D print a drill bit long enough to go all the way through, so I had to do a 2-step process. But no biggie. I was pretty happy with the way it came out until I tried putting the wire through and could clearly see the wire. So I decided that I would rough up the acrylic, and this actually added to it. I think it gave it that frosted glass look, which I really liked. So happy mistake. Alright, so now that that's looking better, the next part we have is this wire has to sit down inside. It's actually going to run to the light. We need to add a relief channel here for the wires. For about 5 minutes I sat there thinking, how am I going to do this? And then I remembered, oh yeah, a Dremel. The next thing I had to figure out was what to do with the wire. I really wanted this wire to be concealed, so I decided to get my doweling jig and drill a hole right through the side of the fixture. This allows the wire to be hidden and also comes out at a downward angle, so it looks pretty sleek. Alright, so I just finished a test fit, and I like the way it's going. Seems like everything's lining up. Now I just need to try putting the light in. We need to put some paint on the bottom piece. We're going to be painting it white to try to reflect more of that light. Yeah, so let's keep moving forward. So after a good test, I decided to start painting. And I started with Kills, Sealer, and Primer. I don't know that this was necessary. Let me know in the comment section if I needed to do this or not, but I just wanted to make sure that the wood was nice and sealed so that the paint would have something good to grab onto. Again, I don't know if I needed to do it, but I did it. So there it is. So after 2 coats of the Kill Sealer, I decided to give it a light sanding of 220, and then I started painting. And for the paint, I'm using Rust-Oleum's Ultra Cover, and I'm using gloss white. Normally I would not use a gloss. I'm trying to make sure that this reflects as much light as possible. So yeah, I went with gloss. And of course I got paint everywhere. So I had to go back and sand it and then hit it with some more India black ink on the edges. So after that was done, it was time to start thinking about how this thing was going to get mounted to the wall. And the first thing that popped in my mind were keyholes. So I pulled out my keyhole jig and my router and got to work. I did 3 keyholes, 2 on the sides and 1 in the middle. By having 1 in the middle, that allows you to easily center it up. The issue with 1 in the middle is that the piece can rock side to side. Hence, I also put 2 just in case. All right, so we've come to the moment of truth where I have to actually assemble everything. And I'm a little nervous. There's a lot of pieces that have to go together a certain way, and I'm using a Total Boat Thixo epoxy, so I get one shot at it. If it doesn't go together right, then probably gonna have to start all over. So I'm nervous, but hopefully it goes together good. We'll see. Okay, can I just say, this is probably the most chaotic, most difficult glue up I have actually had to do. There were so many little pieces that had to come together. I think this might have actually been worse than my concrete build.
Uh-oh. Ah! Oh, I did break our little piece off. Oh well. Oh man, this thing is on fire.
And at one point I thought, oh, if I put it together upside down first, it'll be easier. And then this happened. But eventually I was able to get it all together and clamp it up. Man, that was a pain in the butt. After letting the epoxy have a couple days to cure, I came back to the shop to take the clamps off. And I was a little nervous. I thought there was a chance that I didn't get good adhesion with the epoxy and that the whole thing was just going to fall apart. But luckily the epoxy did its job and made this thing super rigid. I'm not worried about its longevity at all. Good job, Total Boat. And after the little mishap with the light falling out, I decided that maybe a little bit of Type Bond quick and thick couldn't hurt. Alright, so both lights are done. I think it's time to take them in the studio and see if all that hard work pays off. Here's hoping. All right, and there you have it. 2 brand new studio lights. I'm really happy with the way they came out. They provide a great amount of light, and it's not right in your face like most studio lights are, which is really what we were going for. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I do think this is something I'll be doing for myself in the future. This particular pair is not for me, like I said. It's for my buddy, and I think he's going to be happy with them. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Also, consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
That is not what I ordered.
There's a few techniques that are new to me and I think could help you all, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This is speedball. This is speedball. This is speedball super black. That's super small. Take that into your future projects.